Prediabetes is a condition in which blood glucose levels are elevated but have not yet reached the threshold for a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. Adopting a healthy diet is crucial for managing prediabetes and preventing progression to diabetes. There are certain foods that can worsen the condition and should be avoided by those at risk. Here are the 10 worst foods for prediabetes. 1. Refined sugars. Refined sugars, such as white sugar and corn syrup, undergo a process that removes almost all nutrients, leaving only empty calories. Consuming foods high in refined sugars, like cakes, cookies, and candies, leads to a rapid increase in blood glucose levels. This triggers the body to release insulin, the hormone that helps regulate blood sugar. However, excessive and frequent consumption of these foods can lead to insulin resistance, where cells become less responsive to insulin action. 2. Foods high in saturated fat. Foods rich in saturated fat, such as processed meats, sausages, bacon, contribute to insulin resistance and have been associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular diseases. These fats can interfere with metabolic pathways, making proper glucose regulation challenging. Opting for lean protein sources, such as chicken or fish, helps reduce saturated fat intake. 3. Processed foods. Processed foods, like fast food, snacks, and ready-made meals, often contain trans fats, added sugars, and excessive sodium. Trans fats not only increase bad cholesterol but also contribute to inflammation and insulin resistance. High sodium intake is linked to hypertension, a common condition in people with prediabetes. 4. Refined grains. Refined grains, such as white rice and white bread, undergo a refining process that removes the most nutritious parts, such as bran and germ, in a product with less fiber and nutrients, quickly raising blood glucose levels after consumption. Opting for whole grains provides fiber that slows glucose absorption, helping maintain more stable levels. 5. Trans fats. Trans fats are created through a hydrogenation process, converting liquid oils into solid fats. These fats are found in margarines, commercial baked goods, and some processed foods. Besides increasing bad cholesterol, trans fats have been associated with inflammation and insulin resistance, contributing to prediabetes progression. 6. Sugary drinks, sodas, processed fruit juices, and other sugary beverages are concentrated sources of added sugar. Consuming these drinks leads to a rapid increase in blood glucose levels, causing spikes that can overwhelm the insulin regulation system. Opting for water, unsweetened teas, or black coffee is a healthier choice, helping maintain glycemic stability. 7. Processed meats. Processed meats, like sausages and bacon, contain additives and preservatives that can have adverse effects on metabolic health. Additionally, these meats are often high in saturated fats. Excessive consumption of processed meats has been associated with an increased risk of developing insulin resistance and other conditions related to prediabetes. 8. Foods high in sodium. A high-sodium diet can raise blood pressure, becoming an additional concern for people with prediabetes, who already have an increased risk of hypertension. Processed foods, such as canned and fast food, are common sources of sodium. Reducing the consumption of these foods in favor of fresh options can help control blood pressure and support cardiovascular health. 9. Foods high in saturated fat. Again, products, like cheese and butter, are additional sources of saturated fat. While these foods also provide important nutrients, choosing low-fat options helps balance fat intake and promotes better metabolic health. 10. Sweets and desserts. Cakes, pies, ice creams, and other sweets often contain a combination of refined sugars and saturated fats. Regular consumption of these desserts can lead to significant spikes in blood glucose levels, contributing to insulin resistance. Substituting these options with healthier choices, such as fresh fruits or plain yogurt, is essential for maintaining glycemic control and supporting prediabetes management. In summary, the approach to avoiding these foods involves the conscious choice of healthier options, rich in nutrients and with a lower impact on blood glucose levels. Regular follow-up with healthcare professionals, including nutritionists, is essential to develop a personalized and effective dietary plan for managing prediabetes. Replacing less healthy foods with more nutritious options is a crucial step in managing prediabetes. Here are some suggestions to replace the aforementioned foods with healthier alternatives. 1. Substitutes for refined sugars. Choose natural sweeteners like honey, maple syrup, or stevia instead of refined sugars. Use fresh or dried fruits to sweeten foods, such as yogurt or oatmeal. 2. Alternatives for foods high in saturated fat. Opt for lean protein sources, such as skinless chicken, fish, tofu, or legumes. Prefer low-fat dairy products, like skim milk and low-fat cheese. 3. Healthier options for processed foods. Prepare homemade meals using fresh and minimally processed ingredients. Replace snacks with healthy alternatives, such as fruits, nuts, or raw vegetables. 4. Smart choices in grains. Choose whole grains, such as brown rice, quinoa, whole oats, and whole grain bread. Explore gluten-free alternatives, like cauliflower rice, to reduce refined grain intake. 5. Alternatives for trans fats. Choose healthy fats, such as avocado, nuts, seeds, and olive oil, instead of trans fats. Read food labels and avoid products containing partially hydrogenated oils. 6. Healthier beverages. Opt for water, fruit-infused water, or sugar-free teas instead of sugary drinks. Make natural juices at home, ensuring no addition of refined sugars. 7. Better choices for processed meats. Choose lean proteins, like grilled chicken, turkey breast, or fish. Replace sausages and bacon with healthier alternatives, such as lean ham or vegetarian options. 8. Sodium reduction in the diet. Cook at home using fresh herbs and spices to add flavor without excessive salt. Choose low-sodium foods and avoid canned and processed foods. 9. Lower saturated fat options. Opt for low-fat dairy, such as fat-free Greek yogurt or skim milk. Try substituting butter with avocado in sandwiches or using olive oil as a salad dressing. 10. Healthier alternatives for desserts. Enjoy fruit-based desserts, like fruit salads or homemade jams. Make healthy substitutions when baking, using applesauce instead of oil or butter and replacing some sugar with natural sweeteners. Gradually adopting these substitutions in the diet can help improve nutritional quality, control blood glucose levels, and promote overall metabolic health. Remember that it's important to customize these changes with the guidance of a healthcare professional or nutritionist, taking into account individual needs and food preferences. While it is known that certain foods can negatively impact metabolic health and exacerbate prediabetes, it's important to note that scientific research often examines dietary patterns and associations rather than direct causes. Here are some studies addressing the relationship between specific foods and prediabetes. 1. Study on refined sugars and insulin resistance. Reference: Malik, V. S. Scholes, M. B., and Hu, F. B., 2006. Intake of sugar-sweetened beverages and weight gain, a systematic review. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 84, 274-288. Findings: This study suggests an association between the consumption of sugary beverages and weight gain, which is related to insulin resistance and the development of type 2 diabetes. 2. Impact of saturated fats on insulin sensitivity. Reference: Mozafarian, D., Mika, R., and Wallace, S., 2010. Effects on coronary heart disease of increasing polyunsaturated fat in place of saturated fat, a systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. PLOS Medicine, 7-3-E100252. Findings. This study suggests that replacing saturated fats with polyunsaturated fats may have cardiovascular health benefits. 3. Study on processed foods and type 2 diabetes risk. Reference, Odegaard, A. O. Co. W. P. Ler, L. M. Duval, S. Gross, M. D. U. M. C. and Yuan, J. M. 2011. Dietary Patterns and Incident Type 2 Diabetes in Chinese Men and Women, the Singapore Chinese Health Study. Diabetes Care, 34, 4, 880-885. Findings. This study suggests that dietary patterns, including a high intake of processed foods, are associated with an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. 4. Impact of refined grains on blood glucose. Reference, Chi, L, Hu, F, B, and Liu, S, 2006. Whole grain, refined grain, and cereal fiber intakes and risk of type 2 diabetes in the Health Professionals Follow-up Study. JAMA, 298, 799-807. Findings. This study indicates that whole grain consumption is inversely associated with the risk of type 2 diabetes, while refined grain consumption may increase this risk. 5. Study on trans fats and insulin resistance. Reference, Lopez Garcia, E., Scholes, M. B., Meigs, J. B., Manson, J. E., Riffai, N. Stamfer, M. J., and Willett, W. C., 2005. Consumption of trans fatty acids is related to plasma biomarkers of inflammation and endothelial dysfunction. Journal of Nutrition, 135, 3, 562-566. Findings. This study suggests an association between the consumption of trans fatty acids and biomarkers of inflammation and endothelial dysfunction, contributing to insulin resistance. These studies highlight the importance of healthy food choices in the prevention and management of prediabetes. However, it's crucial to address the diet holistically, considering overall food quality, nutritional balance, and individual needs. Always consult with a healthcare professional or nutritionist for personalized guidance based on your specific situation.